Hello viewers, I'm SP and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3, where today we're starting a new campaign, one that will hopefully resolve itself a little bit more positively than the last one, in which we were sadly felled by indomitable bugs. I still have hope. Someday, perhaps we can recover it. But for now, I want to see what the deal is with the ogres. There are two ogre factions, two ogre legendary lords that we could play as. I have to admit, I find Greasus Goldtooth's I'm rich and have food thing to be much less compelling than Scrag the Slaughterer's my arms are made of giant swords thing. But unfortunately, Scrag starts on the west side of the map and is going to mostly be doing stuff in the areas that we were already experiencing during our last campaign. While Greasus starts way further to the east, and we're going to be able to interact with the Grand Cathay units and stuff more. So I think this is the way we're going. We're all going to learn what the ogre mechanics actually are together, but Greasus's personal stuff. We have a great diplomatic relationship up with all of the ogre kingdoms, which will, in theory, make it easier to assimilate them at some point. More income from trade. Greasus himself is even larger than an ogre legendary lord ordinarily is. We get more income from raiding. Our iron guts are cheaper, and we don't even 100% know what that means right now. And income from sacking and looting plus 50% is actually very significant. A built-up settlement gives you a ton of money already, just base, when you sack it. So this seems very powerful indeed. We're going very hard. As we usually do, and hopefully things will just run a tiny bit better here. The ogre kingdoms sprawl across the mountains of Morn. They have taken the peaks from the now extinct sky titans. This mountainous realm is a place of rocks, bones, and great beasts to be eaten or tamed. That sounds like fun. Perhaps kingdoms is a misnomer, for there is no king, but an over tyrant. That's a king. That's a type of king. This advisor guy is being very judgmental about the structure of our civilization.
The ogres feast to honor Greasus the over-tyrant. Their appetites are ferocious. I must be wary.
Time's up, wizard.
No.
Put him in the stew.
Wait! Untold power can be harnessed from a dying god.
Power? Ogres take what they want. What more power do we need? Boil the pot! Fresh meat!
Please wait! The god is up there! You can't devour it!
Quiet! A bear, you say?
Sounds tasty.
Shut up! A new meat. God flesh.
Enough for you, your warriors, and your god, the Great Maw.
I can smell it now. Roast god ribs.
A feast like no other.
You're no meat eater. What's in it for you?
My book reveals a path to his deathbed. I will show you the way for one drop of Ursun's divine blood.
One drop. But ogres get the rest.
That is the deal.
Well, I'm sure this weird magic man and his cursed book are trustworthy.
Our goal is to claim Ursun. The ogres will eat their weight in god flesh and throw the leftovers into the Great Maw.
I'm getting hungry, Umi. Best start spitting out advice, or I'm gonna use your bones as toothpicks.
At once, Horde Master. The bear's roar has made the tribes restless. Other tyrants eye your mighty girth and are envious. The Cross Club's tribe plan to take your crown. Remind them who is the over-tyrant. Destroy them and subjugate any other tribe that dares to withhold tribute. The Firemouth is a sacred site. Claiming it by force or bribery is a powerful act and shall give you a base to expand westwards. Further south is the dwarf stronghold of Karak Azom. It should be cracked open, and its riches added to your own. For we will require immense wealth if you are to hire the best ogres to invade the Chaos Realms. You will be busy, mighty trade lord, but the reward for your efforts is the god meat of Ursun. Let the feast begin, for the great maw hungers.
You know what I like about this faction is it's a very understandable, very identifiable motivation, because who among us has not looked at a giant sky bear and thought, you know, I bet that'd be pretty tasty. So ogre armies gain meat from battles, from local settlements, and from ogre camps, which they use for unit upkeep. Surplus meat may be sent to the Great Maw. Okay, so our upkeep is also paid in gold. It's just we have to worry about both things. Okay. Ogre armies may create camps in enemy territory to assist with recruitment and resupply. That seems like the encampment stance, but probably is going to be more complicated. Some ogre lords and heroes may earn a name for themselves by performing certain feats. Once earned, a big name confers bonuses. Okay, that's cool. And ogre factions may be offered contracts from time to time by others, because yeah, there's a whole thing about the ogres being good mercenaries. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. So first things first, go beat up some crossed clubs to get a hero and some money. Sounds okay to me. Gee, I don't know. How about these ones?
Conquest.
They always give you a little baby army to pick on first. So this army is carrying 50 meat. We can burn some for a pre-battle feast. More meat in the feast, the more powerful the charge will become. So is it just... If we put a bunch of meat in, okay, the best we can do is 5. It never adds any stats. It always affects speed and mass and charge bonus. So it's a very... it's a faction that you want to play like where almost every unit is cavalry, right? There's a lot of charging into people like this. Okay, my suspicion is we are not going to need to pre-battle feast here. Let's go ahead and fight this manually, even though it is a totally trivial fight, just to get the hang of our units in actual combat here. So it seems like we have some crappy goblins. Or noblars? Yeah, these are noblars. There are a lot of goblin-like creatures in Warhammer. There's a lot of different breeds of things that are essentially goblins, but not quite. So we just got some noblars with spears, some throwing weapon noblars, and then we have some kind of big monster. Seems very cool. And some proper giant infantry. Let's have a look at our friends here. So first of all,
Goldtooth.
Greasus himself is speed 35. For a unit with wheels, actually pretty slow, although, I mean, obviously, there's a reason for that. But really significant bonus versus large. Honestly, really good base melee attack in the first place. So with the bonus versus large, super good at fighting monsters. This hex makes the foe reconsider their options. Perhaps leading a warband into almost certain death isn't a good idea after all. So, okay. We have a sort of a threaten effect. We can hide in forests despite our impressive size. We have our ogre charge, which makes spear units less good at receiving our charge, which is going to be important. And we wound enemies. Okay. Yeah, it's a hex. Okay. It is a thing you apply, not a thing that is affecting us.
Where's me master?
So our Noblar trappers here have 17 strength missiles. These are not very good. These are like really crappy arrows. That's fine. Noblar units are expendable. Usually, if your units witness friendly units dying, it has a negative effect on morale. But nobody cares when the expendable guy dies. That's why he's here. These guys are just, yeah. No particular traits, just, wow, very crummy stats. But, you know, they're there to receive a charge. All right, let's talk about the good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Look at you. 20 bonus versus infantry. Quite poor melee defense, worth noting. Melee attack's not great, but the charge bonus is super high. And when a unit charges into enemies, it gets its charge bonus added to melee attack and weapon strength for 10 seconds. So you gotta make sure this thing is charging around and not staying in combat too long, and definitely never getting focused. 110 armor and 7,000 health will help it stay up, but still gotta be careful. Here we got some iron guts. These are the things that we get reduced upkeep on, and they're just, they're just tough. Big armor piercing weapons. They got that ogre charge. They can damage walls. Okay, pretty straightforward. Just great big monstrous infantry. The ogre bulls have very poor armor. Reasonable bonus versus infantry. It's really interesting though that their melee attack and melee defense is so extremely bad. The charge bonus is reasonable, so these are very much charging troops. And ogre bulls, normal ogre bulls work pretty much the same way. Okay. Fair enough. I don't think we need to apply a lot of technique here. Let's just start the battle. We'll have the Noblars move up to take the initial hit here. I'm going to move people mostly behind our force of Noblars. So the range on this is quite large. Leadership down, melee attack down. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't look at. How is the leadership on these enemies? So Noblars have fairly low leadership. 56 is definitely, like, breakable. The actual Ogre Lord is braver, but something tells me he's not going to stand too long against getting flank charged by the Stonehorn. Alright, so he's just going to run in and devour the Noblars. That's fine. That's what they're for. So we got to get in here and deal with the enemy's Ogre Bulls. I do not care about these Noblars at all. They are fake units. Alright. Get them. Unfortunately, it's very murky and gray here, and it's super hard to see anything happening at all. Alright, hold on. Let's fire off our hex on these guys. Nuke their melee attack even more, because we do not actually care about the stats of basically any of the other units. Our trappers should probably actually be shooting at these unarmored ogre bulls, and I think we're just gonna go heavies in on the tyrant. I'm gonna pull the Noblars back a little bit because I don't want them to prevent the charge from occurring. There you go. We want our troops to be able to hit this guy at full speed. Okay, their units are giving up already. No big surprise there. However, they're not permanently surrendered, so let's stay on them. Send some ogres in to break their Noblars. You can see this enemy force is having a lot of leadership issues. Now all that's left is the enemy lord. I mean, he hit us. There's a tiny amount of damage there. Okay, the Stonehorn has finished permanently surrendering the Ogre Bulls. No big surprise there.
Take it home! Yeah!
Let's get everybody out of the way here, because this Stonehorn needs a clean avenue. That's the fastest that can run, huh? Yeah, it still got blocked by one of our ogres. Okay, there we go. There's the surrender. It's alright. We've seen all of our units. We have a basic idea of what they do. We need to fight in a place that's less like volcanic ash in the air so that our units aren't the same color as the surroundings. It's a little hard to keep track of what's going on when literally everything on the screen is just kind of gray. So the crossed clubs will retreat sort of generally back toward their territory here, and we'll just follow them and take it all. It's all my territory anyway. They just don't realize it. Alright, so we got a little bit of meat a little bit of treasure, some experience, of course, and we can ransom the captives back to their ogre leader, their under-tyrant, if you will. We can just, you know, process meat and don't think too hard about that, or eat them directly right now for more health. It feels to me like this is such a small amount of money. It's got to make more sense to process them as meat to be stored. Oh, never mind. No retreat. They are not getting away. So, got ourselves a hero. Also, Grease's Goldtooth has unlocked the name Horde Master, probably for having a lot of meat. Also, shockingly obese. That doesn't feel like... Okay, it's fine. Doesn't feel all that positive, is all I'm saying. Because the shockingly in there, I feel like gives it a pretty negative feel. So what is this guy's deal? When in an army, he increases the movement range of his parent army. That's very good, and frankly, kind of all I need to read. We could use him as an assassin out on the world map, or a garrison assaulter, but no. He'd be joining the army even if we hadn't just received a quest asking us to put him in the army.
I know of hidden paths. Gracious.
Alright, even more treasure.
Base.
Alright, Grease is the shockingly obese. How do I pick your big name? Do I do it in here, maybe? Aha.
Bigger.
Okay, so first things first, we got our first skill point. I'm gonna put it in Route Marcher, because of course I am. We'll look at all this other stuff when we have more points.
Looks valuable.
Movement range. Campaign movement range. Always the most important thing. Sorry, I should do this, though.
The shockingly
Okay.
obese.
So these are just personal things. These are not things that affect the whole army. So he could be shockingly obese. He could get even more obese, which is, you know, that's something. What does Horde Master do? Leadership +8 to all allies within 55 meters. That seems pretty good. If we rank up while in raiding stance, we can get a trade income increase. This feels to me like one that's going to be pretty valuable later on. And win a siege battle to get a bonus when laying siege. Okay. So if I choose this name now... Okay, we have a 10-turn cooldown before we can swap it. Okay, good to know. And... quests. Okay, we'll get our quest items eventually. And here's our friend here. Okay, so there is Crossed Club territory north of us. What is our opening province? So that's Grimtop, this is Amble Peak, and then is this over here... Wait, where's Karak Krakatan? Oh, it's even further south. That's pretty awkward. It's a real bummer that there are pieces of this territory in both directions. Do we want to go... I kind of want to go north first, just because we can focus the enemies down to this side, and the dwarves aren't actually at war with us yet. Yeah, let's maybe turn around and head north. What do I need to enter recruitment stance? Oh, never. Oh, sorry. We're in friendly territory. I can recruit while I am in normal stance. So what does offer to the Great Maw do? Send surplus meat to the Great Maw to receive a 10-turn boost to this army. Yo, that seems very good. I'm gonna put that on us.
Pull me there.
Okay, and then let's do a little bit of recruiting. What do we have access to?
Choice.
Just Noblars and Ogre Bulls. It doesn't feel like Noblars can possibly be the correct recruit, right?
Do what I say.
I guess the Ogre Bulls are so bad at holding enemies in place, though. Maybe we do want to have a couple more units of just, like, things to tie people up so that we can then flank around them. Yeah, alright.
Loot belongs to me.
Let's go ahead and... Also, they're much, much cheaper to pay for.
The ogre tyrant always.
So we also have a tech tree here. A couple of ogres having a conflab quickly becomes a huddle. Population surplus 1 for newly deployed camps. I mean, okay, this seems meaningful. All of our technologies are sort of in a line. Okay, so we'll unlock stuff slowly.
If it helps ogres, it helps me. Over tyrant.
So is the meat consumption of the army always going to just be... I wonder if the meat consumption of the army is always just going to be equivalent to the number of units in it. All right, and then back here at the Great Hall, we have enough population to upgrade this settlement. It is a real bummer that we start in a province that has no large settlements. Okay, that's something we're going to have to figure out. So when we upgrade to this, we're going to get the ability to hire Noblar trappers, which, you know, that's valuable, I guess. We definitely need more meat generation. Okay. I think that was a pretty productive turn one.
We'll throw a great feast.
We'll try to get ourselves a here, we can turn off fast forward mode because we can only see a very small area, so we do want to see the movements of armies in that area. All right. Capture and occupy Grimtop. I'm working on it. We'll get a potion of speed for our lord and some money. Okay. We've already picked where we're going. So can I see if I mouse over this? Here we go. This is what I want. Yeah, we're getting 10 from the settlement. We're paying 13 now. So, okay. Dangerous to have an ogre army outside of friendly territory for very long. You really need those meat shipments, like, constantly.
Gracious always wins.
Our bonus movement range has given us just enough movement to get over here and make this happen. And this is a slightly more real battle. We should probably, if I take this as a Pyrrhic victory, all of our Noblars will die, which is probably fine, but I don't want to spend the time re-recruiting them. So maybe let's, it's just plus 2% everything. To be perfectly honest with you, at maximum here, a 10% bonus to charge, a 10% increase to your charge bonus just doesn't really feel that significant. I think we're just going to hoard food for the moment. But let's go ahead and play this battle manually, because I'm pretty sure we can outperform a Pyrrhic victory that kills my entire Noblar Corps. This fellow has some kind of fancy mask on. Don't really know what the deal is with that. They have their own cavalry. They have Mournfangs. And they've got a little bit of a settlement built up here. This probably doesn't count as a siege battle for the purpose of unlocking that title, right? My guess would be we probably have to be like at a settlement that has proper walls and enter siege mode. But I don't know. Maybe the game uses the terminology to just refer to any settlement battle. Let's hope. So the Mournfangs should be pretty easy pickings for Greasus with his massive anti-large bonus, and he's also just like extremely good at fighting other ogres. I am unfamiliar with the kind of unit that their lord is, but he has the wizard icon underneath him, so he might be a really bad fighter. All right, not really a lot of ways in here. We could place around this side. Okay, that's interesting. So we have like two approaches available to us because they built back into this little canyon in a way that's honestly remarkably intelligent. Here's what I'm going to do. Oh, what are the combat stats of the new guy? 48 attack, 46 defense with poison, which is awfully nice. So yeah, actually not a bad melee fighter, but also has some pretty decent ranged weapons. Are you a firewall moving character? Or do you need to... Okay, it looks like he has to plant his feet. He moves quickly when there are no friendly units around, so you can catch up with the army. Causes fear. Okay, interesting stuff. I'm going to have Greasus be on this front. We're basically just going to divide the army into two pieces. You can have these units.
I want it all.
And then the rest of it is over here. And we're going to push in probably just right here, but I guess we could divert that way if it makes more sense. Yeah, Okay, let's see how they place their defenders.
Follow the Moor's course.
All right, so first things first. Tower and tower. Okay, so they've defended this middle area quite heavily, which makes sense. This supply point covers that tower, while this tower is covered by this other supply point, so it won't be trivial to break those down. We can use the iron guts to do it. They're on... Yeah, we have iron guts on both sides. Because they can at least weather the tower fire with their armor. And where did they put their lord? I wanna... Here we go. Granic Flesh Eater the Wizard. 48 melee attack, 37 melee defense. So not a terrible fighter. And he's got access to some basic fire spells, it looks like. Including one that's being targeted at Greasus right this second. So the question is, like, is there any reason for us to go directly for this supply location? I think we might go around. If they want to Mournfang charge us in the rear, that's fine, I guess. I think what I'm actually going to do here is we're going to stretch these... Gosh, there's a remarkably small area. There we go. Stretch these across here to give cover from the Mournfang charge. And y'all are just gonna run right the fuck in there and make it happen. And we're gonna push for that other supply point that controls that tower back there. And on this side, we have much less to worry about. They've barely defended this at all. I think what I'm actually gonna do is have the Noblars just go straight for the ogres over there to try to keep them busy. This is absolutely a sacrifice play. And you lot, what would be best is... Oh, that's a unit of bulls right there. We should see if we can knock them out really fast first. Our hunter has a reasonable charge bonus. Yeah, 50 points. I think we're just gonna charge here. I'm gonna specify to the Noblars. I want the path to be like this. Wait, how do I do that? Yeah, here we go. Hold down shift and you can like actually draw directions. All right, and we'll see how that turns out. I appreciate that this time our troops stand out from the terrain at least a little bit.
Tyrant of tyrants.
Oh, I forgot to give the Noblars official orders, but you know, it's something like that.
Master Predator.
It's a pretty decent charge. He actually knocked an ogre down. That's not an easy thing to do. Okay, and they are suffering and retreating already. They have the fear. You come this way. The Stonehorn is pretty heavily armored, and we could also use the Stonehorn as our way of dealing with the tower zone. Interesting. So they changed they moved the Mournfangs over here. I don't know if that changes anything. I still want to take the 2 supply points that control the towers first. So yeah, I think we're just gonna keep it up here. So these ogre bulls are running to the other ogre bulls for reinforcement. Do we care? I think that's fine. That still lets me be the one who charges. I'm gonna have the Iron Guts break off. See if we can't arrange a flank here. And I guess with the Mournfang cavalry there, are Mournfangs... They have a fair... Okay, most of their damage is armor piercing. I don't really want them getting on the Stonehorn, is my concern. So we'll pull the Stonehorn back to here. And I guess these 2 units of Noblars, like, we don't really have a use for them over here. We'll just go take this. And then put some pressure on this zone from this side. That seems fine. Yeah, our cowardly enemies will continue to back off, which is also fine.
Greasus Goldtooth.
Okay, yeah, the Noblars, like, their morale crashes the second an ogre gets in contact with them, which makes sense.
Find a mill. Thundering.
Oh, that's exactly what you're not supposed to be doing. Get that good charge. You know what? Let's show that wizard who is the boss. I couldn't even quite get him off his feet. It's tough, you know, with an ogre, it's tough.
Greasus gold.
Go. Okay, they're bringing back a unit of Noblar trappers to threaten us here. That point's almost mine. Okay. So the Noblars will loop around and grab this from the side. Y'all are doing an excellent job of keeping the enemies in place. It doesn't look like we need the Stonehorn on this side anymore, so yeah, I think hitting the Mournfang cavalry in the back seems reasonable. They don't fight that well without their charge bonus. Okay.
Fattest, strongest, richest.
Greasus seems to lose his orders a lot. He forgets what I told him to do.
Iron guts. Crush 'em.
And yeah, this works just fine because we can just take this point from this side.
When do we eat? Yeah.
Okay. Noblars are fleeing, which is not a big surprise, but it does probably mean that we need to get the Stonehorn out. Soon the enemies will have nothing else to focus on. Try to run the Stonehorn around to here.
Iron guts. Take it all.
Okay, lots of surrendering going on there.
The quarry is mine.
Stay on that. Do your level best to get on them.
Greasus.
Once again, Greasus has fully forgotten his orders. It's fine. Just get over here. I'm gonna crash the stats of this Mournfang cavalry unit.
Ring supper. Boss says so. Rampage this way. I'll crush them.
Alright, that's getting capped. This is fine. Take control of this. I mean, I'm gonna have the Noblar trappers just go get the center of the base. There's not really any reason not to.
The tyrants.
Stonehorn's taken more damage than I was hoping. I was trying to have it focus on the real units, and it got all caught up in the Noblars.
Crunch their skulls.
Focus on the wizard. The wizard is the problem.
Hunter.
Okay, that point is ours, and as such, the tower associated with it.
Meal time.
Turn around and help out the other unit of Noblars. Okay, there we go. That is messy, and messier than it needed to be, but certainly cleaner than it was going to be with the AI, with the auto-resolve. And also, most of our ogre units took little to no damage, which probably would not have been the case with that auto-resolve Pyrrhic victory. The poor Stonehorn did take a beating, and we're going to have to be careful with that thing because my guess is that it's a pretty high-tier unit and we're not going to be able to recruit another one for quite some time. So, you know, just don't let it get stabbed with spears too much. Even a Noblar can draw blood. But yeah, it's really interesting to have a whole faction that is designed to be shock cavalry and then have basically no units that you can use to just hold stuff in place reliably. Very interesting. Alright, so kind of crummy rewards here. We are absolutely... Yeah, there's no reason to go for the loot, because there's almost nothing here.
Get her or get eaten.
All right, and we only have one direction to worry about from now.
Shockingly obese.
And also, we have 2 settlements.
Trade.
Is this one not also producing meat? Oh, local armies probably means in the region, not in the whole province, huh? So this one is producing meat, but it doesn't, we're not getting meat from both of the settlements. Okay, that's a bummer. So we already have the basic melee building in the other settlement, which lets us get units as fancy as Iron Guts, potentially. We can build a Mournfang lair, letting us recruit Gorgers, which are faster, frenzy, anti-infantry types. Honestly, probably pretty great when we're not fighting ogres exclusively. And then we have access to a couple of different kinds of defensive structures. The guard tent provides growth and also Noblars, which is interesting, a defensive garrison. And then here we have the standard growth and replenishment rate building, income, and meat. Extra meat generation seems really valuable, but it costs. For right now, as always, I'm very much inclined to go with a growth structure, and we do have enemies nearby, so a guard tent seems like it might be the move. It's just as effective as the actual growth building. Yeah, let's put up a guard tent for right now. It's not a great garrison, but it is a garrison. They'll do something.
Shockingly obese.
All right, let's take a look at the rest of these stats. We can grab an increase in our leadership aura, because our character does provide leadership to nearby friends. We can become hardy, making ourselves safer from attrition. Lovely jubbly. Not going to ask any questions. His recruitment cost down. It's pretty crummy. Raider and Ravager are both potentially interesting. I wonder if we must get meat when raiding, right? That seems pretty significant. And then we can pick up all of the standard blue line stuff. I might go that way with our first army here. That said, Tribe Stealer may be worth grabbing right now so that we can start considering confederations as quickly as possible. Ooh, armor and leadership up for the whole army is obviously super valuable, and then eventually over Tyrant, big casualty replenishment rate increase. Okay, I'm surprised that this is unlocked already. A lot of legendary lords have stuff like this, these specializations, but usually they don't unlock until you're like in the teens. But yeah, let's take this line first. I want to be the over Tyrant. And you could learn a lot of things, but I think what I want more than anything is for this army to be faster.
Too rich to walk.
So you are, yeah, we've spent all of our movement there, occupying the territory. We can do a little bit of recruitment. I think I'm inclined to just build more ogres.
What I say.
Yeah, let's build more ogres.
Belongs to me.
And the dwarves, we're cool, right? Yeah, everything's fine. They're gonna be cool. They're gonna be totally chill. I can tell. And we have the same overall victory conditions as anybody else. Get the Demon Prince souls, fight the final battle, eat a giant bear, and we're gonna get there. I'm gonna put a little bit more effort into getting there this game than we did last game. I was taking my time. I was just sort of ambling along last game. Alright, so we may as well just full march mode. So when we're in foraging stance, not raiding stance, control -3, growth -5, we're immune to most attrition. We get bonus growth for our local camps, which is interesting.
Move it.
Stuff we'll have to try out.
March. Over tyrants.
Let's head to Grimtop. We are replenishing mighty slowly for the moment. Okay, upgrades still coming in. What is this? Ah, okay. Contracts will open up on turn 11. We should probably try to secure some kind of trade, right? With trade income seems to be a big deal. All right, so we have the camp huddle now. Deploy a camp. Ogres are renowned for their nomadic ways and fireside revelry. By constructing a camp, ogre factions can provide benefits and support to local armies, even deep inside enemy territory. Any army can deploy a camp using the button on the army panel. They cost money to construct. Also, okay, recruit a whole second army. Listen, we'll get there. We do not have the income to manage that kind of nonsense right now. So it costs 2,000 gold to put one of these down. And our camp limit is currently 1. So we probably want to be a little bit smart about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and put one down right here just because we need to know what they do. Maybe further.
Strongest boss there ever was.
Okay, we got some of the money back immediately. What does the camp actually do?
Hold master.
So it has basic recruitment structures. It has a... Oh, interesting. It can build all the way up to tier 5. So this is... We're going to have to use our camps to build our largest, most impressive buildings. We can see it has a radius within which we can recruit from it, I assume. So it has access to the same couple of buildings here. Eventually the fancy purple buildings. Out of curiosity, where is... So here's Mornfang Cavalry with great weapons. Crushers. No Stonehorn, huh? Iron Blaster Siege Artillery? That seems like a thing we should get relatively soon. Probably, I mean, you know, as soon as we can. It's going to be a minute. Casualty replenishment rate up for enemies inside the circle. Seems very good. Upkeep down for units actually in the camp. Not inside the circle in general. Income generation, meat generation for armies. Okay, there's some really cool stuff here. So, if we're going to develop this camp, it does seem like we probably have to go spare tent. So, like, if we is this movable in any way though? Like, do I have to dismantle this to be able to build another one? Or maybe we put this down and it's just permanent. I mean, I'm fine with it being in the middle of our territory, even if it is the permanent location for our camp, just because we have to get one good recruitment building established somewhere, and it should be somewhere safe, ideally.
There's no
So yeah, that's fine.
bigger.
And it is allowing us to replenish while within its circle. If we go back over the border... No, we do not get more replenishment, so we may as well be as far forward as possible.
Come on, faster.
And we can recruit from the camp. Ah, the camp only has 1 recruitment slot, which is definitely interesting. Well, I'm doing it.
My ogres.
So we've opened up a couple of different researches. That's the word. Researches now. Big income up from raiding. We definitely want to do some raiding because I would like to level up while raiding and earn that title. Camp growth up in enemy territory is not going to be terribly relevant to us immediately. Or we could just get some basic infantry boosts here. Butcher Spices. Butcher Spices seems very important. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going this way. Let's get those whetstones. We need better replenishment.
With this, we'll take the world.
All right, let's see how they handle that, I suppose. We've got the Great Hall up to level 2, so we can build more stuff. Once it's at level 3, we can build... Ooh. That seems awfully good. Oh, also there's gold here. The gold mine. Also, yeah, just a huge amount of money. Hell yes. And we should probably... Do I want to have the basic recruitment building here, though? Because in the Great Hall, we're going to want to build... This slot's for the special building. This slot's for the mine. Maybe I want to... You know what? We have to develop this stuff somewhere. I definitely want to be able to recruit Iron Guts. It's going to be a real pain to try to relocate it somewhere else. We don't have another settlement that is high level yet. Let's just go ahead and build it up there, even though I think there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to end up destroying it later. Because we probably will want that, that slot for something else, probably money making. Okay, we did in fact build a camp building, and as such we have received a gleaming pennant that we can equip to one of our units. Leadership bonus seems like a good idea.
Trade Lord.
So they have an 8-unit garrison with another 9 units sitting in the actual army here.
Gracious.
Which means they actually are larger than we are.
Place.
We could just have at them and probably be fine, because, you know, the AI.
In my honor.
We could try to do something fancy instead, though. We could try to, like, be sneaky about it. I think I'm just going to hit him.
Kill him. Eat him.
Our units are mostly in quite good shape. Ooh, it's all ogre bulls, huh? Well, a thing we can do is encircle them. Let's do this. We're just going to surround the settlement. That stops the recruitment of anything further within it. And we're just going to slowly starve them out. They will not allow us to do this. They'll stop us. So army upkeep is completely removed inside the... Okay, yeah, when you're within a camp, you don't eat at all. That's incredibly powerful. My guess is they will respond to this by running out to attack us.
Conquest. Grace us.
I would much rather fight them in the field than in their fort. So that suits me just fine. Okay. Make sure that we actually have our pennant. But maybe they'll let me just slowly starve them to death. Fine with that too, actually. So you can see the units inside the city are suffering some attrition from us blocking off their access to the outside supplies. In 9 turns, their garrison will be wiped out completely from that attrition. And for the moment, we're just going to keep building stuff. So camp growth going up. Let's get probably income, right?
Conquesting.
Yeah, let's start a loot pile here in the camp. That seems smart.
Even meat won't calm us.
And then next turn, the first level of the gold mine is up, and we should be quite positive on income then.
Won't stop till everything's mine.
I wonder how low they'll let me burn them. Are the units... Yeah, the units in the garrison are suffering. They're starving as well. They should not let me do this very long. They're going to have to attack us. This is their only settlement. Okay, so we're plus 278 right now.
In charge.
Still don't have any money at all, though. I'm just going to take it easy for a second here. If they're going to let me do this the slow way, we're going to go ahead and do it the slow way.
Make it a good one.
The Blood Maw, very friendly with us on account of, you know, all of the diplomatic bonuses we have. I would also like a trade agreement with you. How about that? There we go. We don't even have any particular goods, but...
That'll do the job.
Just conceptually, the concept of sending boxes back and forth has made us all slightly richer. It's good to have friends. Got a friendly ogre kingdom to the north, too, that we should maybe have a chat with. And also some Cathayans.
Won't be making any deals till you agree. I'm in charge.
So a non-aggression pact and simple trade and military access so that we can travel over your territory safely.
That's the ogres.
There we go. We're doing diplomacy. Look at that. So with those, okay, positive opinion heading up towards 75. There are good odds that we are going to eventually be able to assimilate that faction, I think. These ogres, on the other hand, they do not care for me. Raiding blood guzzlers. This is stuff that happened before the game started, I guess. Yeah, okay. The Butcher Spices. If they want to let me wait until Butcher Spices is done researching before we actually do the battle for Grimtop, I am fine with that. I don't know. Actually, that might be a little bit too long. Okay. Really? I can trade with you? Why? Maybe they reworked the way trade happens. It used to be you had to have a path from your capital to the other player's capital that was completely owned by territory controlled by the two of you, or, you know, the port had to be involved. But sure, I mean, if you want to do some trade, I am all about some trade. Determined to prove himself hungrier than a rival from another tribe, one of your tyrants arranges an eating contest. From dawn till dusk, both ogres cram endless meats into their gore-strewn maws. Gross. When both simultaneously retch up enough pink chunky vomit to fill a small lake, a respectable draw is declared. Great, who doesn't love being an ogre? So temporarily, big diplomatic boost with the Lazargs. Well, I mean, I reckon we ought to take advantage, yeah? This is the diplomacy button. Who even are you? Okay.
Behold my aromatic meat stew. You may only have the giblets.
Gee, I wonder why it's aromatic. Here, why don't we just set up the basics of a relationship here? The Thunder Guts, who just came to us. We can't quite get the non-aggression pact. Can I pay them off? It's pretty close. It's a pretty close deal. I'll do that. That's fine. That'll get our opinion headed northward with a quickness. Okay, feeling pretty good about that. We've made the friends we can make.
Get 'em! Beat 'em!
So we won't be able to pick up another point of increased mobility until level 5. What else do we have here? Vanguard deployment for Saber-Tusk packs in the army. Obviously not super relevant right at this moment. We don't have any Saber-Tusk packs. So are these all... Yep. Boy, hunters sure love to work with Saber-Tusk packs. Okay. Independent mind then, I guess? We just start improving your... So as long as you're in the province, you're increasing growth. Is this in effect while he's in an army? He's gonna be in enemy territory a lot anyway. Let's start with independent mind. We'll start picking up his personal combat boosts. And we'll worry about all this other stuff later.
Bring me something's leg.
For the moment,
Anyone wanna challenge me?
I mean, they're pretty damaged at this point. We can just auto-resolve a victory here. Let's just go ahead and take it.
Remember, no one ever belongs us.
They say Pyrrhic, but it's not even... None of the Noblars even died. I mean, all the way.
More territory for Greece.
Got ourselves a potion of speed, which I'm sure will be useful on our lord. And get control of a province for 5,000 gold. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That seems likely. So, we were going to pick up this stuff. I'm going to start with the boost to the whole army. Oh, never mind. We had 2 skill points from that battle. We'll just get both of them.
Chuck it on my loot pile. There's no
And then here in Grimtop... I guess Grimtop's not a bad place to actually have the recruitment structure, right? I know I just built this, but... yeah, let's go ahead and trash that.
Trade Lord, Tribe Stealer, Hold
Well,
Master.
here's the thing. Let me actually change my mind on that. We're not going to be upgrading Grimtop, though. We're going to be saving population until we can upgrade this. So we do need this building here for now. We'll smash this one. We'll probably build a growth building in its place. Oh, and also I should probably upgrade the gold mine. Because you know what's good is gold.
Biggest gut in the land.
Also, here in the camp, in theory, we could build a thing.
I'll eat this whole stinking world.
I don't know that we need to, though. I guess we have enough income. We're not having money problems right now. We may as well. How far out does that circle go? It doesn't quite reach the Karak, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and wrap up this province, shall we? So we're not eating anything at all, and we're in a friendly territory. Or rather, we're eating only what is provided by the camp.
Racist.
So we get to build up quite a bit of meat here. I think we're going to stop just on our side of the line. Ah, that settlement isn't empty at all. That's a Skaven army. Okay, so we're gonna be in combat presently. Just a moment here. So we could grab some more ogre bowls, dual weapons, or iron fists. Iron fist ogres have shielding. The thing is effective, yeah, against missiles. And they have a little bit more melee defense because of the iron fist. But their damage output is... no, their damage output isn't actually affected by it at all. They're tougher, but they don't have an anti-infantry bonus. I feel like we want an anti-infantry bonus.
They better do what I say.
I'm going to recruit a couple units of ogre bulls here.
It's not a choice.
And then, I mean, we could finish off this army. We could just grab 2 units of Noblars and have a 20 stack. And honestly, I don't know that I would want to have more ogres in this army.
My army.
Just in terms of, like, making sure we have enough raw numbers to keep fighting. Let's just go ahead and have a 20 stack.
Find me flesh.
It may not be trivial to just walk over and finish our province, if that's an actual settlement. All right, new contracts are available for selection. Let's have a look at this. So, Karak Azorn would like us to capture the Black Fortress way out there. The Thunderguts also want us to raise or sack the Black Fortress. And the Fulg want us to hit Karak Azorn. I don't have to take any of these right now. We get diplomatic relations more than we get actual monetary rewards. I think for the moment, I'm just not... yeah, I'm just not going to promise anything.
Over tyrants, greasers, Goldtooth.
The question is, do we just go for it? Can I make an offer to the Great Maw that... no. There is no offer that increases replenishment rate. We could take blood. We could do bloody and raw, I suppose. We certainly have the meat. We took come and get it on turn 1, didn't we? So that has fallen off. I'm gonna take this. I'm not sure if you're allowed to have multiple maw buffs at the same time. Make an offering to the Great Maw. That's weird. It's weird for you to just issue that mission to me now. Okay, no, you're not allowed to have more than one at a time.
Must face.
Yeah, it's weird for that to have been triggered by this. I'm going to run over there because we're not at war with you currently, right?
I am great powerful warlord.
We're going to run over there and we're going to have a look at the settlement at the very least. Hey, what a surprise. It's full of Skaven. Okay, cancel move. There's an entire stack of Skaven in there, plus a 7-unit garrison. We may have to approach this a little bit more carefully. We are, if we go full march mode, we are going to be able to make it back into camp range.
Spoils here.
In fact, I think that's even on our side of the territory line. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of replenishment. This is going to be slightly more complicated then. Don't get me wrong, basic Skaven units are not good. They're basically Noblars. They do have a little bit of fancier stuff, and then of course they've got their Warlord. What's in the garrison? Pretty much basics. Skaven slaves are even worse units. 9 attack, 16 defense. But they do have a couple of units of Night Runners. I don't know. Maybe we could just take them. At the moment, we would also get Conrich's army as reinforcements, so it's a lot of Skaven altogether. You know, I think this bears some consideration. That is going to be it for us for today. And thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time tomorrow, we are perhaps going to eat 1 million ratmen. And we'll see you then. That can't be good for us, right? Are we disease resistant? All right, like I said, it's something to think about. We'll see you tomorrow.